Pretty horrendous weapon when you think about it. Very, very difficult. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about the Wushu Emei Piercers we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. I'm going to be talking about what they are, who uses them. I've got my own little theories on how they might have been in the past before they've kind of got incorporated into the Wushu world. And at the end, I'm going to put together a short montage of people training and demoing the Emei Piercers. Hi, my name's Doug Swift. I've been doing martial arts for the past 34 years and I've been the owner of Enso Martial Arts for the past 17 years. If you're liking this video, we'd really appreciate clicking the subscribe button, subscribing to this channel, and you'll get all the latest notifications on all the new videos that we're producing on the products we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. So let's get into this video and learn all about the Emei Piercers we have for sale at Enso. So firstly, I wanted to talk a little bit about the name Emei. So Emei is a mountain in China, sort of in southern China, and you know, it used to be a very big home for martial arts. It was one of the centres. So everyone knows about Chen Village, everyone knows about Shaolin. Emei was one of those centres as big as Shaolin, like in years gone by. Now, I think it kind of started to sort of fall apart or sort of disappearing about 200 years ago. Maybe I might have got that a bit wrong, but it definitely wasn't because of the more recent troubles that China's had. It's definitely sort of started to fizzle away quite a long time ago. Now, I went to Emei a few years back and it's an absolutely beautiful place. If you get a chance to go, you should definitely go there. We did a 2-day hike up Mount Emei. It was pretty horrendous. Legs were very, very sore. Unfortunately, we didn't see any Kung Fu with it when we were there. Kind of asked around a bit and there wasn't really any signs of any Kung Fu anymore, which is really, really sad. There are still pockets of Emei Kung Fu, but not really in China. You see them around in the States and stuff, people continuing to teach that style of Kung Fu. So I assumed that Emei Piercers were a popular weapon within the Emei style and taught around that area, and it's a weapon that came out of that area. Nowadays, it's one of the weapons that's been incorporated into Wushu, and you do see it in Shaolin as well, but Wushu is where it's really known, and it's one of the kind of different, you could say rare, but you don't see it that often, but it's one of the definite Wushu weapons in Chinese Kung Fu. So Chinese martial arts is known for having a huge array of weapons, and it just seems to go on and on and on, and even within one grouping of weapons, say broadswords, the sort of variety of broadswords is absolutely massive. Now, you can kind of put them into different kind of categories, and you get all the long weapons like the staffs and the guandaos and whatever. You get the swords, broadswords, tai chi swords, straight swords. You get the kind of farming tools like crutches and tonfas and things like that, and you also get concealed weapons, very short, small size weapons that will fit into your pocket up the sleeve, something like that. Now, these concealed weapons kind of supposedly evolved around people not being allowed to carry weapons but concealing them on their person in a time where there was no necessary wars, but there was a lot of bandits, so it wasn't very safe to go from village to village, to walk around in the countryside, out in the open, in an area where you didn't know people. There was lots of kind of attacks and muggings and whatever. So, you know, China has had long periods of being known as kind of relatively lawless, you know, lots of bandit country, and concealed weapons would be very, very useful. So if you take Shaolin Temple, for example, monks would go out and they'd see people, and I guess they'd spread teachings and give blessings and whatever, and they'd want to be able to protect themselves, so they'd have certain things on their body that would help protect them while they're out and about doing their duties. Emei Piercers fit into that category as a concealed weapon, but other weapons do, like the 9-section whips fall into that because they can be concealed very easy. Chopsticks would fit into that, and obviously it's something that you can carry on you that's an everyday item. Rope darts fit into that, meteor hammers, so there's loads of well-known Chinese weapons that are classed as concealed weapons. Now, I've got my own theory on Emei Piercers, and I'll show you them. You can see that it's two long spikes, big spike on the end, and it's got this loop in the middle with another spike on the end, and you fit them onto your middle finger and hold it in your fist. Now there's loads of reasons, I'm sure you can tell, why you'd have this like this. You could punch and stab and whatever. Pretty horrendous weapon when you think about it, you know, quite a nasty weapon, and when you hold it in your fist it's relatively comfortable. Now in my eyes this isn't particularly concealed. I think, you know, why is it on a spinning thing when it's exactly the same both ways? Why does it need to spin? Well, I guess if you're concealing it, you can pull it out. But, you know, in my personal opinion, I would say that actually this probably came from being a half spike. So you'd have a cut off just above the spindle or axle in the middle, and you'd be able to hold it, and it would just look like you're wearing a ring, and you'd have the spike just sort of tucked under a sleeve or whatever. If there was any problems, you could spin it round and you've got a spike in your hand. At the moment you've kind of got this spike where you can jab yourself in the wrist. It's not an ideal sort of self-defense weapon as it is. I think it's much more about sort of wushu performance these days and being able to show off and do the spinny stuff and all the rest of it. I think personally, and definitely if you disagree with me, I'm very open to it. Drop a comment in the box and give me your own theories on Emei piercers. But yeah, my opinion is that it would probably be half the length of it, and then you could conceal it and it'd be very quick to pull out. You wouldn't have to rummage around inside your clothes and get something out. You could hold it with you while you are out and about and be a much more usable weapon. But your own theories are very, very welcome. Like I said, drop comments in the box below. So I've already shown you these piercers, but we'll just have a look at a bit more. So like most Chinese weapons, it's a bit of metal that's then chrome dipped to help protect it so it doesn't rust at all. So as long as you don't get any sort of nicks or dents on it, this shouldn't rust, but it is a chrome plating. It then has a brass ring on the top that spins round, and it's held together with a screw and a nut. Now there are different grades of Emei piercers, almost like different qualities, and we do our absolute best to get the best ones available. So even though these look kind of a bit janky a little bit, and they are a little bit janky and the price reflects that, they are the best Emei piercers that I have managed to find. I've been out to China loads and trying to source products, and I've been looking round, and they do come much worse quality than this. If you've ever bought Emei piercers before, you will definitely know about that. So these are actually pretty nice quality. They have nice beveled spikes on the end, you know, and they're finished off pretty well. There's no sort of cuffy edges or burrs sticking out. They're relatively smooth, so they're actually pretty well made for Wushu Emei piercers. So just showing you a few of the measurements now. I'll show you all the dimensions and weights will be online, so you have a really good idea of exactly what you're buying. But just as a general idea, these are 30 centimeters long in total length. And the rings are pretty big, so you can see on my hands there's plenty of space, so even if you've got relatively big hands, you'll be able to use these no problem. So I've mentioned some of the other weapons from Chinese martial arts, but at Enso Martial Arts we do pride ourselves on having a really good selection of Chinese martial art weapons. So as well as the Emei piercers, we also have iron rings, monk spades, very popular and probably first weapon you'll get onto in Kung Fu, the waxwood staff. A whole range of broadswords, including the flexible Wushu broadsword. But check out the website ensomartialarts.com and see the whole range of Chinese Kung Fu weapons for sale. So in my own Kung Fu practice, I've never actually used Emei piercers. It's not something that I've ever got onto. I personally find it extremely hard to even spin them round and round. I can just about bend my fingers back to make space for it. Very difficult for me. Some people have amazing flexibility in their hands, so they can create lots of room for training with these. So it's not something I've ever done, but I thought I'd put together a short montage of people training and competing with Emei piercers. for watching. I hope you learned loads about the Wushu Emei Piercers we have for sale at Enso Martial Arts. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button down below, subscribe to this channel and get notifications on all of the latest videos we're producing on our products at Enso Martial Arts. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Cheers!